What's up? Welcome back to the channel or the podcast. I'm your host, Mal Burden, and I am going to chat with you today about frequency, energy, and how you can be the vibe. How can you embody that version of yourself that you know you truly are deep down, but sometimes it feels so difficult to actually embody? And if you know anything about energy work, it basically is saying whatever our external reality looks like, feels like, our perception of our reality is really a reflection of our own energy and what's going on internally. So, this idea of being the vibe is our ability to completely shift our perspective and our self concept so that we can radically recreate our lives. Because sometimes we realize that our lives are not a true reflection of who we are or who we want to be anymore. And we want to feel alive. We want to feel like we fully resonate with our lives. We want to feel like we're aligned internally and externally with our relationships, with our career, how we're spending our time and energy, and how we express ourselves out into the world. So, I kind of want to touch on three main topics today, and that is going to be about how our thoughts, emotions, and actions help to create our reality. The second will be our self concept and the roles that we play. And then the third will be how we can make our challenges actually become our opportunities. So I'm really excited to talk about this with y'all today because I too have been on such a transformation journey the past 10 years, but more so the past 2 years. That's really when I started to reconnect with my intuition and make decisions based on what my intuition was telling me. And if you resonate with being a perfectionist or a people pleaser and always wanting to make sure that everyone else around you feels comfortable, most of the time at the expense of your own needs and desires, like you know how incredibly difficult it can be to actually follow through with what that inner knowing is trying to tell you. So, I've been going through this journey the past 2 years, and to be honest, I thought that as soon as I started to make those decisions, making that decision in my long term relationship or making that decision to walk away from my stable 9 to 5 to pursue my passions, I thought my life was just going to automatically change and be perfect and exactly how I imagined it. And of course, you can imagine, I'm sure you're going through your own transformation journey as well. When we start to make those changes, so much shadows, wounds, fears, conditioning, all of that stuff that we have stuffed away, it comes up to the surface for us to handle and to navigate and deal with. And it's interesting because on this journey of transformation, there is a distinct period where it feels like you're in this liminal space. You are like moving away from your old chapter. It's like you have one foot in your old chapter and you have another foot heading in the direction of your next chapter, but you are in the in between and it feels so uncomfortable. You know what I'm talking about if you're there. You're like, okay, I don't feel comfortable doing things my old way. I've already released a lot of the things that were no longer resonating. So I can't fall back into these old habits or patterns that are keeping me stuck. And yet I'm not fully comfortable moving into this whole new chapter. So it's like this period of being in a waiting room, and it gives this feeling of being in a room that doesn't have any windows or doors. You're waiting for them to appear. You're not seeing them quite yet. You're trusting sometimes that they're coming, but other times you kind of crash out and you think you might be going crazy. So, when you're in this liminal space, it's really a chance to heal those wounds, look at the shadows that are coming up, and honestly recalibrate yourself. It's recalibrating yourself so that you can actually be the energy, embody the energy, be the vibe of your next chapter self. Okay. And we can say next chapter self, your next level self, your most aligned self, higher self. There's so many ways, but whatever resonates with you most. It could be your most true self, whatever it is. I'm going to use those words probably interchangeably throughout this. But the whole idea is that our energy matters. No pun intended. Our makes up energy makes up like everything, right? And you've experienced it like when you go into certain places, okay? If you go into Walmart has a different vibe than, let's say, Target, okay? There's different energies there. If you go to whatever, like if you go to a crowded concert, that is going to have different vibes and energy than if you were to go to your local coffee shop, right? Everyone is carrying certain energies. And that's so true for the version of us when we were in our old chapter. They had a distinct energy that they were emitting and carrying with them versus the version of us that's in the next chapter. Okay, so what we're going to be talking about is really stepping into that next version self, right? Like, think of yourself in this liminal space. You don't have to force anything to happen. The only ask of you is to truly, as much as you can, embody the vibe of the person that you are trying to become. That version of you that you know you are deep down and that you are ready to actually be on a consistent basis. Now, let's go into the first one real quick. So, thoughts plus emotions plus actions equals our reality. Like, what are we doing all day? We are thinking, we are feeling things, and we are taking action. We are making decisions based on what we're thinking, what we believe, what our emotions are, how we're feeling about something, what action has a reaction, things like that, right? So I want us to think about this for a second. Our thoughts that we continually have, we have thoughts that are just happening. We're not making them happen. This is our subconscious. It's on a loop, essentially. There's probably recurring themes that come up for us on a day to day basis. And this is why I really love having a daily writing practice, is so we can untangle everything that's going on in our mind and really get an objective view of what are the things that we're consistently thinking, because it is impacting how we feel and the actions that we choose to take or don't take. Okay, so I want to give an example of this, right? So okay, let's take social media. Let's say you are building your business and you know that it's beneficial to show up online and create content, right? To help market your skills and what you do and your services and all of that. But for some reason, every time you come up with your content ideas, it is so difficult for you to show up and actually take the action needed to post and share the thing. So let's go through what the thoughts, emotions, and actions could be that are creating that reality that you have with your social media. Okay. And you can apply this to relationships, career, whatever it is that you're experiencing. But basically, what you'll want to do is write down, what are my thoughts that I continue to have around this experience or this situation? What do I believe about this? What are my emotions that are coming up? What are the actions I'm taking or not taking, right? And then you can just be real with yourself, like, what is the reality? So let me show you what that could look like. So when it comes to social media, I have these thoughts that it doesn't matter anyway, and that people don't want to hear from me, and that there's already so many content creators out there. There's not enough space for me. Those could be a few thoughts that continue to show up, okay? Or even, I don't have good enough lighting or good enough equipment to be able to make high quality content, okay? Those are the thoughts. That feels heavy. Okay, let's get into the emotions. When I think about that, when I continue to have these thoughts, okay, and I might have some good thoughts too. The thought may be, um, oh, I just saw something on Instagram and I'm really inspired. Like, I would love to create a piece of content like that. But then immediately, oh, but I'll never be able to make it as good as this person. Or they've already done it, so there's no room for me to put my own spin on it, right? Okay, so we have our thoughts. The emotions that are tied to those thoughts feel heavy, they feel overwhelming, overstimulating, they feel unmotivating. It's like I definitely don't feel very motivated to take the action. So then those emotions, okay, let's take it to the actions. Then I'm like, I feel like I should. I feel obligated. I feel like I should do something for this. So I guess I'll come up with a few content ideas. But because I feel like I'm supposed to do it, because it feels like an obligation, my ideas is just, I'm just going to come up with something so I can check this off my list. It's not going to be something that actually resonates with me. And because it doesn't resonate with me, it might not resonate with other people, because other people are feeling the energy behind what I'm creating and how I am showing up. And what does that do? That creates a whole loop. Oh, I don't get as much engagement on what I'm sharing. And now that reinforces this belief that no one wants to hear about what I have to say. There's no room for me. Maybe it's not even worth putting in the time, effort, and energy, because I know I'm not going to get a return on that. Okay, you see how this cycle? You see how this cycle works? It is, honestly, this is all about navigating our spirals. You know, when you go through the spirals and you think of all of the worst things that could happen, and it becomes a self fulfilling prophecy. Okay. So if you have something in your life that you're struggling with, I highly encourage writing out what your thoughts and beliefs are around that topic, your emotions, and then the actions you're taking or not taking, and what the reality is, right? Really think about that. And then, because you have it down on paper and you can get a bird's eye view, you will be able to see more objectively what's truly going on here. And what's truly going on is really our ego self, those shadows, those wounds, the things that are trying to keep us safe because we're trying to extend past our comfort zone. It's just trying to keep us safe. It becomes very clear when we see this out on paper. And what we can do is reframe those thoughts. Okay. So every time this kind of thought comes up, you compassionately witness it, you understand where it comes from. Oh, I know that I'm worried that people don't want to hear from me because whatever, my parents expected me to be quiet when I was a kid. You know what I mean? We can start to shift how we're actually thinking about these things. What if that thought actually becomes, people do want to hear from me? I know that's actually true because I've had people compliment a piece of content that I have shared or a podcast episode that I've shared, right? What we want to do is reframe the thoughts and begin to look for evidence that that is true. Okay. So that is the first part here of being able to be the vibe, because you will start to see how your recurring thoughts, emotions, and actions are all feeding into each other. And if your thoughts are coming from a place of lack, fear, shame, guilt, any of those lower vibrational frequencies, it's because we're doing something. It's not coming from pure intention. It's not coming from our heart. It's literally coming from a place of, I feel like I should do this in order to get something, whether that's money, validation, whatever it is. And people pick up on that. People pick up on that energy. We are all very intuitive beings, and whether we realize it or not, we sense what's going on beneath the surface. Okay, that's the first part. Part number 2, the roles that we play. Okay, our self-concept. It's a big one. It's a big one, okay? And when we are going through our transformation journey, it is truly a journey of, okay, discovering who I actually am. It's a journey of self empowerment. It is a journey of self expression. And ultimately, like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, it is about getting to self actualization. That is all about, I know who I am. I know what my purpose is in this world, and I am empowering myself to do that and be that. I know who I am. I'm showing up as her. That's me. Self actualization. So the thing is, from the time we're born, we are told who we are. We are conditioned to behave a certain way when we're at home, when we're at school, whatever. And of course, like, yes, that makes sense. There are certain rules in society that are helpful to follow. Sure. The problem is, a lot of us internalize these things that we're told about ourselves, and we aren't actually seeing ourselves for who we are. That's why it's very difficult for people to be authentic. Authentic is such a buzzword these days, but I don't think that people actually know what that truly means and how to become that. And part of our self-concept is navigating and seeing clearly these roles that we have subscribed to, these roles that we have said, okay, I am going to be the caretaker. I am going to be the people pleaser. I'm going to be the perfectionist, the overachiever. I'm going to be X, Y, and Z because one, that will help me receive the love and care, attention that I'm looking for. And two, that's just how I make sense of myself out in the world. That's how I'm able to bolster my ego, truly, is what that is. And when we start to realize the roles that we are playing in the lives of other people, we can begin to dismantle that, because the reality is we aren't a role. We aren't someone who can fit inside a perfect little box that is branded and that doesn't deviate away from what this label is. Like, we are multifaceted, ever changing every little second. So the roles are keeping us in this box that we have no business being in. And we don't even want to be there. Let's be real. We don't want to be there. We don't always want to be the friend that is the great listener that everybody comes to for their problems, but then no one listens to them. We don't always want to be the girlfriend who is the cool girl, the chill girl who doesn't care if her boyfriend calls or not. And like, whatever, he can go do his own thing because I'm chill and I'm cool, you know? It's like, we have to be real with ourselves about these labels that we're giving to ourselves and how we are ready to break free from that. It can be very challenging to break free from that because those roles have kept us safe. So we don't have to completely abandon them in one day. But I also want to say, if you want to wake up one day and behave differently, think differently, feel differently, you can. You have permission from yourself to do that. I think something that comes up when we are changing, it can feel a little awkward because we have these people in our lives that know us to be a certain way. They assume we're going to agree to certain things, or they'll know how we're going to respond, things like that. But it keeps us limited, and it can feel uncomfortable to start to behave and engage with your life and the people in your life in a new way. Sometimes that's what keeps us held back. And the thing is, the people in our lives aren't necessarily going to be like challenge, like they're not going to challenge us about that, but it's this feeling of, I don't want to be judged, I don't want to be rejected, I don't want to be seen in this space of trying things differently than I used to because it's going to feel weird. I'm going to look weird. Maybe they'll judge me. Whatever it is, it's keeping us in these old patterns, right? It's keeping us in old patterns. For example, for a while, I would be sober curious and no, obviously everyone that I know and love, like they support me in that. But because I had this mindset of like, well, I'll just drink anyway. Like, I'm kind of doing sober curious, but like I'm with my friends and my friends know me to be like, I would drink for sure. So like I'm going to drink if we go to a concert or something. But that was just like in my mind, I had this role that I thought I had to play, but I didn't really have to play. Or literally just being the type of person that always is agreeable and always says yes to whatever plans come your way. When you're transforming and you're getting into your new chapter and you have different priorities and goals than you did before, you can't. You literally can't just agree to do everything and be everything for everybody. So, when it comes to being the vibe, we have to see very clearly the roles that we're playing that we don't actually want to play. If we can release that, we are one step closer to being the actual vibe of the person we're meant to become. Okay. And, you know, it's fine. Like, these things come up and we realize, oh, I've slipped back into my perfectionist side. That's okay. Like, girl, I know. Girl, I know. It's okay. I know why we do that. It makes sense why we showed up in this way again. But now I'm more aware of it and I can choose a different path. Which brings me to the last point here, all about how when we are being the vibe, we can literally alchemize our challenges and our setbacks and our bad luck and make them into opportunities to step into our higher self, our next level self. Okay. Honestly, this is the most exciting part to me because when are we not facing some kind of challenge, right? Every single day or week or month, there is something that comes up for us that creates a little tension. And it doesn't have to be a terrible challenge, it really is a creative opportunity for us to show up and engage with that challenge in a new way. How would my next level self deal with this challenge? That's something to ask ourselves, right? Like, okay, here's an example. Let's say let's say you went on a date. Let's say it's been a while since you've been on a date, but you're finally putting yourself out there, right? And you go on this date and it was nice. You had a great time, like you were interested in seeing them again, but they don't reach out to you, and let's say maybe you reach out to them, but nothing really came of it, no second date or anything like that. The question is, okay, how would old me respond in this moment? What would she do? And then be like, okay, what is my future self telling me? Like, how would she handle this? Right? Like, our old version, she would be in that lower vibe energy. She would be like, no, but I need that validation now. I'm not getting it from this guy. Okay, let me get some of my girlfriends. Let's go out tonight, and then I'm going to see if I can get some attention elsewhere. And maybe I'll hook up with somebody that I don't even like or care about, or whoever the fuck this guy is. Or I'll like go on the apps and just like scroll into oblivion just because I need that attention and validation, right? That's just an example. Your future self would be like, okay. She would be like, okay, I understand. You had a good time and you were hoping maybe y'all could go on another date, but it didn't work out that way. Maybe there's something where y'all actually aren't in alignment and you can't see it right now, and that's okay. Like, soothing yourself, okay? Letting those emotions come up and then saying, what if this is an opportunity to learn more about myself? What about this made me upset? What do I really need in this moment? Am I craving validation? How can I validate myself? Do I want to take myself out on a solo date? Do I really just want to feel desired and hot and creative? Like, do I need to like get dressed up and like dance in my living room and then like start a new art project? Like, there's energy that's wanting to be expressed and released. But the way to do it isn't in these old ways of seeking external validation. Because even if you got the external validation, you would still feel empty. You would still feel empty because you're not actually shifting your vibe and your energy. You are outsourcing that to someone else who, number one, can pick up on your energy so they understand subconsciously that you're seeking that energy and validation from them. But yeah, it's just not going to be enough. It's not going to be enough. It is all about, all of these challenges are always about how can I, what is this bringing up for me? How can I soothe myself? And what do I actually need that I can give myself? Right. And if you are looking for connection, maybe it's let me plan a date with my best girlfriend. You know what I mean? Let me call my dad, like these challenges are truly opportunities for us to engage with our lives in a brand new way. And the more that we approach these challenges and setbacks from our higher self place, our next level place, you become that version. Because obviously, every decision, action we make, it has a ripple effect. It has an impact, has cause and effect, karma, whatever you want to call it. Things circle back. So the more that we can take the high road, you know, make the best decisions and most aligned decisions for ourselves that we can, like the more we're in our vibe and the more we actually end up in this new timeline of sorts. It's like every decision we make leads us on some kind of path, right? And yeah, it's like, what path do you want to be on? What path do you want to be on? So, those are kind of the three main things that come to mind for me when we're thinking about being the vibe. And I think just to round this out, it's kind of like, how can you, number one, it's not about always feeling happy or always radiating love and positivity. I mean, sure, like it's definitely helpful the more that you can tap into your heart and be grateful for everything that you have going for you, even the small things. But this is really about being able to see those more difficult emotions and being honest with yourself about your reality and how you actually think and how you actually feel so that you can transmute that, transform those into something more true and real. Like, this is not about bypassing how we feel. This is literally about looking at the worst parts, honestly. And the ability to have the courage and look at the truth of how you're thinking, feeling, and the actions you're taking because of that. And the truth about the roles that we play in order to stay safe. And the truth about what these challenges are actually bringing up for us and where we're still ready or where we're still learning. Like, that's our power. This is all the ways that we can empower ourselves to shift how we view ourselves and shift our perspective and shift how we are actually showing up in our lives. And that is what is going to transform not just you as a person, but it's going to drastically shift your life, and you are going to feel so much more aligned, even when there are setbacks and challenges, because there will always be. There will always be. But you will at least know that you are in congruence with who you are on the inside and who you are showing up as in the world. So that's on that. Let's go out there and be the vibe, okay? Anytime you just know that you are not being the vibe that you want to be, give yourself that love, give yourself that grace, and be patient, because we are all figuring this out one moment at a time. So, thank you for being here. I hope this was helpful for you. I'm sending you so much love and the best vibes. Until next time, bye.